that's the thing, is that she continues to define me wrongly. And I can prove everything. Welcome back. You're watching the American Workplace Bully 4-4. Just like before, I'm breaking the video into two installments, 4-4 and 4-5. They're both simultaneously released and will be the last video to specifically address the hard evidence of workplace bullying at Fox 7 Austin, a subsidiary of Fox News Channel. If you stuck it out this far listening to the evidence, you must be congratulated, because you are now in an elite group of truth seekers. Searching for the truth only goes as far as your patience and willingness to sift through the straws of misinformation just to find the single needle of truth in the proverbial haystack. In other words, the truth must be earned. This is the only way you can know for certain that what is said is true. Whether you judge me in the right or in the wrong, it does not matter. What's really important is that you have heard the raw, naked truth, realizing that not everything is black and white and there are no easy answers to a murky situation. So to that, let us review what has been established. In Chapter 1, we've learned GM Mike was very presumptive in his position and believed a lie that I made people fearful around me. He also tried to coerce me into admitting to wrongdoings on the Facebook post concerning the police chief, when he was actually more upset about the station losing access to the police chief and possibly needing a scapegoat. In Chapter 2, we've learned a lot about Department Head Kathy. Inconsistency, making up convenient rules as she goes along, and very reactionary responses over small and petty issues, as well as finger-pointing to avoid taking responsibility for incidents she caused. And believe me, these weren't isolated incidents. There were others who suffered the brunt of her desperate need to bully for insecurity issues. In Chapter 3, we've learned of the big lie by immediate supervisor Lorena, proving sadistic, manipulating, blame-shifting, and passive-aggressive behavior. Plus all signs of evidence, Lorena may be a pretentious fraud who was in way over her head. And what you've heard so far in Chapter 4, a very derelict and aloof HR Lisa, which we'll expand on for this video. But it's already been established that despite all of the evidence proving my original complaint list on Lorena as being accurate, I ended up with a write-up for basically bringing this to HR's attention. Yes, the cause listed on the first write-up is quote-unquote insubordination. However, I contend this was born out of convenience, given that the investigation began and concluded weeks after the stated incident. And let us not forget the convenient harassment charge levied by Lorena. HR Lisa was oblivious to strong evidence which she would have discovered had she bothered to investigate. She also took an elitist stance of stereotyping me as a run-of-the-mill disgruntled employee, by having a preconceived opinion before the investigation even began and showed deference to fellow managers. In addition, HR Lisa allowed Kathy to sit in on the employee interviews, which were a key part of investigating Kathy's own hand-picked manager, a definite conflict of interest. It was also established that both Kathy and HR Lisa were dishonest when confronted on their methods of investigation. Being that the first write-up was twisted around to accuse me of the exact things I was complaining about Lorena, it exposes HR Lisa's collusion with Kathy and complicity in the matter. And even though Fox has a non-retaliatory policy, I strongly believe the first write-up was punishment for questioning a manager's work ethic. Kathy's behavior has proven she is very proactive in eliminating threats to her career through intimidation tactics and finger-pointing. The second write-up has already been debunked in 4-2 and 4-3, but I would like to give you a little bit more on HR Lisa and how events unfolded. Concerning the audio you are about to hear, keep in mind, I was furious that it was being written up for basically a non-issue, and my relaying of Lorena sabotaging the project was falling on deaf ears. But letting you hear me at my worst is very important, because it proves two things: how dire my situation was becoming at that point, forcing me to seek legal consultation, and that I'm not afraid of the raw, naked truth. I've never proclaimed myself to be a saint. I'm very much flawed like the next person, but I do live my life by a principled code of being judged through the merit of my work, and when management questions my character, I take personal issue with it. Can I talk now?
Yes.
Okay. Bring it into context. When I burst in your office, well, for one, that was my first day starting psychological medication. I don't know if you're aware of that, but I'm now under a psychiatrist's care. Two, Lorena has been, during that cycle, every time at the very last minute, she would come in with push these RFS requests. At the last minute. There was always something at the last minute when I was busy doing topicals. So I was just adding more pressure to my day.
Everyone, yes. But these are all just procedural things, Philip.
No.
And they were requested in writing, and I have examples of requests being made, and then you saying, yeah, we'll do, and then them not being shown on the final product.
Once it's by mistake, thrice is by pattern.
I believe I probably have more than thrice here. I do. And again.
And the thing is that you don't even want to accept the notion that Lorena is pretty much wrong on a lot of things.
this is not about Lorena.
No, it is.
This
It has
is-
everything to do with Lorena because
No,
she
it's not.
continually CCs
Okay.
you on these emails, trying to embarrass
yeah.
me on mistakes,
No, you
on
are-
small potato mistakes. These are small potato mistakes with a hub.
Okay. They are not small potato mistakes because the hub has responded and complained. I've had a discussion with them. They are not small potato mistakes. They are not small potato mistakes.
Yeah, well, you
And
know
then
what?
I-
A lot of the stuff the hub didn't do, even though that we would put it in RFS. So they made mistakes on their end as well. You know, but I don't go around pointing it out to them. You know, I try to make sure the quality is there.
They were confused, and they said your requests were contradictory. Philip, what I need for you to do in this situation is to think about how you can improve yourself, not about how
Did you know
Lorena needs to change, and not about how the hub misunderstood you. I want you to think about
you
how
realize
you
that
can
Jim
improve.
is a very smarmy person? To correct the record, it wasn't my first day taking medication. I was mistaken and had actually been taking the prescription for a week. The details aren't really important though. This correction is just for the sake of accuracy. For this next clip, I want you to pay close attention to HR Lisa. He's very smarmy. He even said that she...
This is not about Jim.
No.
No.
But this is about defining.
Yeah.
This is how people define me. And I'm not going to allow myself to be defined by other people's opinions.
You create your own impression
No,
of yourself. Yeah, you do.
no.
You do. So everybody does. Everybody creates
You know-
their own. Everybody creates their own image impression.
I get
of
along
themselves.
with the department swimmingly. I get along with news swimmingly. You know, and there's a contradiction here as far as some people choosing to define me irresponsibly, mind you.
Philip, I will repeat this again, and I said
Okay,
right
well, let me
here.
put it this way.
This is based on my experience of working with you,
Okay.
as well as my
well,
observations.
your opinion is also a little flawed as well, because you're inconsistent, and I'm trying to.
This is not about. This is about.
No, I'm trying to make you consistent. All right. If I get more consistency, I can do all these things that you want. But you keep going different directions. The smarter smartphone is a good example of it. How many times have we went through revision over revision?
Well, but that's the nature of...
No, that's October.
Let me speak for a second.
The production was, the project was delayed, and during the time of the delay, and this was explained to you, with all of the weather that we had and all of the situation, the reality kind of changed a little bit, and then we started making revisions based on that reality of the weather. The project was delayed because we were short-staffed, and I had to rely on everybody else to pick up different projects, and the demands of the department caused the project to be
Okay.
delayed. Once the project got picked back up, yes, we revised the script based on some realities that, in my professional opinion, had developed during that time.
October to May. That's a way long time.
One more time, Philip. The project started in October. It got put on the back burner. It got delayed. When it got picked back up, changes were made. Okay?
Okay, that's a long time though.
But there was a long period of dormancy that
Another
is...
instance is when the same day, last week, I saved you on your copy. I fixed the issues where you called the Clippers owner
and
coach.
yourself and the anchors and everyone was there.
Yes, but they were too concerned about reading off the prompter.
You know,
but the
Philip,
thing is,
I said we're not discussing that incident at this moment.
Yes,
that
we
has
are.
Nothing to do with
yes,
it.
we are, because later on, a few hours that day, you carped on me for 5 minutes about a spot that aired that we didn't, the news and the story they killed.
That has nothing to do with it.
It has everything to do with it.
I'm not going to discuss it in this
It has
forum.
everything to do with it, because you made a mistake, but you couldn't accept that I made a mistake as well.
So
You caught
we need to calm down. We're all going to calm down, and we're just going through this particular memo right now.
No, because this is defining me as something I'm not.
It's expressing performance issues that
relate
Kathy,
to this project.
that relate to this project, and that Kathy, as your department head, is indicating that you need to address.
Okay, I give. Why are HR Lisa and Kathy finishing each other's sentences? This implies a lot of comfort in their managerial relationship, perhaps a bit of bias and presumptiveness. What really gets me is how HR Lisa groaned at mentioning how I saved Kathy on her Clippers copy highlighted in Chapter 2-2. Was there an opinion HR Lisa wanted to share with the rest of the group? Or was HR Lisa taking deep offense to calling a manager out on her sanctimonious BS? And by the way, what makes Lisa an expert on a promotion campaign? Stating this is a nature? HR Lisa does not know anything about promotions, other than what she is told. Making those kinds of declaratives points to an arrogant frame of mind, and very dangerous to the people who have had the misfortune of being judged by HR Lisa. Oh, and one more thing. Kathy's belief that everyone creates their own image is a cop-out, absolving her of any responsibility to the truth. Did Kathy also mention that I wanted to do the compositing myself instead of using the hub?
And yes, I did not mention that, Philip, but I've told you this on numerous occasions. I have seen your graphic art design work, I have seen your graphic work, and I have numerous times told you to go take it to the hub to do it. At that point, that is what they're there for. To have you take 3 days to do your own compositing work, I don't have 3 days to spare of your time to do that.
Well, they had 3 weeks. It took 3 weeks when it could have been done in 3 days. And we could have made the sweeps. And it would have been just as good as the hub.
My experience with you on those types of things has not been that
You haven't had that experience. I've never done anything like this for you.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not going to tolerate being redefined by someone who doesn't have a correct opinion of me. You're getting bad information from Lorena, for one. Getting bad information from Jim, for two. See, I have done everything. I do my due diligence all the time. You know, sometimes I make mistakes because there's so many things I got to do. But yes, I'm still going to push forward and make sure the projects get through. And I don't like being hamstrung a lot of times. But, you know, that's the nature of the business. You know, sometimes I get hamstrung. Sometimes there are mistakes made from some management. And what do? I'm going to be held responsible for it.
If you're talking about the issue last week,
Well, how about when we talked about because this is redefining.
This is a meeting that Kathy's called.
No, this is redefining.
This is a meeting that Kathy has called.
Yes.
This is a meeting that Kathy's called to address these performance issues.
And this is relating to this issue. Do I not have the right to defend myself against the accusations?
They're not accusations, Philip. They are documented examples.
Documented is the examples? I can give you plenty of documented examples of Lorena continuously CCing you just to embarrass me.
No, that is not the case. I get CC'd on everything, Philip, because I'm the department head.
No, every little mistake gets CC'd to you.
I'm on CC'd on every email.
No, she postures in her emails as though she's completely absolved of it. She's knee-deep in it. Like I said, Lorena does things just for the sake of doing things. Just like when we had that discussion about using VO on the spots. Okay, in all the 6 months that I was doing the 9P, all Lorena had to do was see one of the spots, either in archive or on air. So for 6 months, all of a sudden she's surprised that she didn't know about it.
This is not about that, Philip.
But 6 months, she doesn't have the care to check do any kind of check, air checks.
You're off topic.
No, this is very on topic. She doesn't have the care to do any on air checks, right? For 6 months, and then she wants to control how it's being produced. So, and you went along with it.
No, I didn't. I said that there was no rule, and that sometimes you did have to use.
You went along with it.
I did not, Philip. I said that there were no rules, and that there were sometimes you would need to use, depending on how the copy was written.
And when I tried to discuss it with you the following day, you said you didn't want to talk about it.
Well, because I had talked about it.
You did not want to talk about it, even though it was bringing issues up.
Because you were continuing. It's something that I have documented with you in the past, that you fixate on something and you won't let it go.
Fixation, or making sure the facts aren't distorted. It should also be noted that I have OCD as well. That made me late for my bus. 30 minutes. I had to wait 30 minutes for my next bus to come. And, you know, I'm trying to get out on time. I'm trying to get everything that you guys want. But it was just a whim on Lorena. Because she didn't have the care enough to check any of those. All she had to do was see one spot in the 6 months. And she never did see a spot in the 6 months. So, it's like you might have the steel trap memory, but you're not very observant when it comes to Lorena. And that's the thing, is that she continues to define me wrongly. And I can prove everything. He says all you got to do is look at the evidence. Doesn't seem like you want to listen.
Philip, I looked at a lot of evidence, and that's what led me to write up this memo about this project.
You looked at a lot of one-sided evidence.
No, did not look at one-sided evidence.
You looked at one-sided evidence. You're looking at emails that are being CC'd to you.
And I hear conversations when voices are raised. I have emails that say...
You hear a passionate...
I observed emails that ask you, you know, and I addressed this one here, so I'm going to address it right here. Here's 3 things that you need to do to fix the final spot.
Well, that basically tells us this wasn't a trial. It was a sentencing, of which I obviously had no representation on this matter. And HR Lisa has a clean conscience on this? Do you believe HR Lisa was taking the evidence serious? Let's address Kathy's claim of raised voices.
So after it airs in the newscast, she can post it on Facebook later.
Okay.
Before she leaves,
So
you know.
after 9
Yeah, so that, Kathy, what time is your Good Day stuff going up? Was that 9:30? Yeah, let me call you.
A wall separates Kathy and Lorena's desk, and the door is about 7 to 8 feet away. Lorena has a higher-pitched voice which is more likely to be heard than mine, especially at raised voice level. Yet Kathy could not hear from her desk. That must be some super hearing on Kathy for the times that she claimed to have heard conversations when voices are raised. Or, Kathy was eavesdropping from a closer range, meaning this was possibly a pre-planned and contrived event to make it official. And we already know that Lorena has a way of provoking situations. I seem to recall a certain GM getting bent out of shape over setups. Now to address the bus issue. While I realize it might sound petty, it really isn't, because the bus commute takes a total of 2.5 hours round trip on good traffic days. Added with a 9-hour workday, that's a total of 11 to 12 hours out of my day, leaving me with only 2 hours of relaxation time in the evening. The remaining 2 hours in the morning were spent getting ready for work and reading the morning news feeds. So Lorena's personal indulgences making me miss my bus is not acceptable. The irony is, back in chapter 3-2, Lorena got so upset at me when she was held past her work time, she changed the review schedule, without Kathy's knowledge, just to accommodate herself.
You had responded to that email, okay, will do. Okay? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
I've done it.
No, you did not do it.
What do you mean you did not do it?
You did not add the logo and the branding to the spot.
That one I forgot.
And you had responded that you had done it, and here's the file. Okay, that wastes everybody's time when you're submitting incomplete work.
Kathy not wanting unfinished work sent to her establishes how Kathy and Lorena's orders are oftentimes contradictory, and I frequently got caught in the middle, with both managers pointing fingers at me.
We're trying to help you.
Okay, by defaming me.
You're not accepting that there are areas for you to improve that you need to work on. And
I
that's
think
what we want you to do.
everyone has everything to improve upon.
And that's what we want you to do.
Yeah, I always try to improve upon everything.
Here.
Well, that's her job as your manager, is to communicate with you about
but I'm not going to tolerate for defamation.
This isn't
defamation, Philip.
Okay.
This is a normal communication within the company from a department head to the employee about, because you're judged on your job performance, because you are an employee in the department. And
this is impacting your job performance.
You haven't seen the final spot yet. Just a quick note on defamation. Yes, HR Lisa is correct. It is not the legal definition of defamation. However, it is still defamation nonetheless, as it impacted my standing with the company, of which obviously is not very good right now. Okay, a bit of foreshadowing for the next clip. On Monday, May 5th, I walked into Kathy's office initially to inform her the first completed spot of Smarter Than Your Smartphone was ready for her to review. Imagine my surprise when HR Lisa walked in just a few seconds later for what was to be my second write-up meeting. Now I want you to pay close attention to the silence of Kathy's oh crap moment at being informed the spot was ready before I walked into the second write-up meeting.
This is impacting your job performance.
You haven't seen the final spot yet. I came in here initially to get you to see the final spot. and you didn't. We had this meeting now. The final spot is ready for you to view.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be happy to view it. But this is not about the final spot. This is about the process it took to get to that point and the delays that were experienced and the frustration that escalated based on lack of communication, confusing communication, and lack of communication and confusing and not following direction. That's what this conversation is about. This conversation is not about how great the spot is or is not.
I think that's the bottom line.
That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with this. You can produce the best spots in the world, and you can have an attitude, and you can fail to perform in other areas, and that's equally as important in your job performance at this station.
I'm not a mind reader, but I'm guessing Kathy was internally saying, "Oh crap, what do I do? If I do the right thing and back out now, it will make me look bad. It's best just to follow through. No one will be the wiser." But that's just a guess. One factor to note, the reason why I was able to finalize the first Smarter Than Your Smartphone spot and present it to Kathy on Monday, May 5th is because I voluntarily opted to work on the previous workday, even though I had every right to take the day off, being that it was my birthday. So basically I sacrificed my birthday time to work on the promotional spot to which I was written up for. Alright, this is a good place to take a break. Please come back for 4-5 at your earliest convenience. Thank you for watching.